Good morning and welcome to the 2020 Yes Winnipeg Investor Breakfast. I'm Ilona Niemczyk, Investor Relations Manager, and I thank each one of you for joining us virtually this morning. Your adaptability and support of Yes Winnipeg is very much appreciated. Today, we celebrate the close of Campaign 2020 and our collective successes and look ahead at what's possible for our city over the next 5 years. I have and continue to be inspired by our investor community and your commitment to building a prosperous Winnipeg. I look forward to meeting all of you in person when it is safe to do so and working together in the years ahead. Economic Development Winnipeg acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 1 territory, the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. And now, Doug Harvey, Chair of our Investor Council, will share a few words.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Yes Winnipeg Investor Breakfast. As most things in our life these days, this is a little bit different, and I am coming to you, some would say in my pajamas, but I would say fully clothed and ready to address you today. So welcome and thank you, everybody, for being here, and most importantly, thank you for being an investor in Yes Winnipeg. As I look back on the last 5 years, we've had many exciting things, and I think like most things in life, it starts with people. And in the last 5 years, we've hired Dana Spiring as the CEO of EDW. We've brought on Ryan Kuffner as the Vice President of Sales and Business Development. And they have made a wonderful team and just an absolute joy to work with. And you throw in Lori and Ilana and the people that I get to work with on a regular basis, and it's just an absolutely great crew. Very inspiring. And as you know, at Yes Winnipeg, our modus operandi, our reason for being, is to have create a great business environment in Winnipeg and surrounding areas. And so you start with business retention, you start with business development, and you start with business attraction. And just in this past 5-year cycle, the staff have done a fabulous job. They have a number of things that they have put in place that have helped that. And I think of market intelligence. I think of the talent attraction piece. Our first road trip to Buenos Aires to hire Argentinians to come and live and work and thrive in our community. And that has been most exciting. One of the things that's always driven me at Yes Winnipeg is to measure our results. Because it's not just about feeling good and not just about talking about the successes, but really being able to measure what is done for our economy, what it's done for our business environment, and measuring the impact that those jobs have that we've been able to attract and retain. One of the examples I really like is Skip the Dishes. We started with Skip the Dishes when they were just 5 people. We have been with them on many different iterations and developments and growth along the way. Today, they have 4 floors rented in True North. They still have a number of facilities in the Exchange District. And when you think of going today from 5 people to over 2,000 jobs in the city, you think about the cars those people bought that are working there. You think about the electronics that they've bought. You think about the space that they've either leased in condos or apartments or bought in houses. You think of that ripple effect in stores, in restaurants. And it really, that picture paints a fabulous portrait of what we're trying to accomplish at Yes Winnipeg. And when you can see that every single one of those jobs, the economic spin-off from that job, as it resonates throughout the community, it's huge. And so thank you, Skip the Dishes, for choosing to grow and remain with your head office in Winnipeg, and we are just proud and delighted to have you. One of the other things that I think is most important about the role that we play at Yes Winnipeg is the collaborative approach, because we're only a province of just under 1.4 million people, and it's very, very important that we take both a lead role and a supplementary role in our business development and retention. It's not a matter of who gets the badge of signing a company that comes, whether it be, the Raquette Pea plant in Portage la Prairie, or whether it be Skip the Dishes. in many of these instances, we have multiple parties being involved in creating the end result that we want. And so I really applaud the people at Yes Winnipeg for working with the different provincial agencies, the rural agencies, organizations like Center Venture within the city of Winnipeg. And it's not a matter about who was the one that signed the deal. What it matters was we all worked together for the common good of both the city and the province and the citizens of Winnipeg and Manitoba. So very proud about that. My mom used to say that Winnipeg has lots of cash and no flash, and it's one of our strengths, and yet it's one of our weaknesses because we have those humble prairie values. Sandy Riley always says that Winnipeg exists because of the will of the people. Well, I think our will is never going to be tested more than it is in these kind of times. We are going through probably a once in a lifetime pandemic. We certainly hope it's no more than once in a lifetime, and it will test all of us. So I'm excited to hear from our Catalyst keynote speaker, Georgina Black from Deloitte. Georgina's topic is very, very interesting, very timely, as all of us are going to have to look at how we use our creativity or ingenuity to do things in a different manner. We've seen the outcome of the US election and the turmoil that that's caused. And so I think her topic will be very timely and she will be formally introduced later. Following me this morning will be Minister Ralph Eichler from the provincial government and Mayor Brian Bowman. And I won't give any further introductions. They will be more than capable of that themselves. So without further ado, here's Ralph. Thank you and have a great morning.
It's my pleasure to bring greetings today at the annual Economic Development Winnipeg, Yes Winnipeg Investor Breakfast. 2020 is proving to be a very challenging year for all of us. I'd like to start by thanking each of you for your organization's ongoing perseverance and commitment to growing Manitoba businesses in these unprecedented times. We know that our recovery will be an ongoing process. At present, the current COVID-19 test positivity rate and numbers are putting us all in a difficult predicament. But there are bright spots. Many of you have continued to operate as essential businesses and have provided Manitobans with the services and products we need, as well as critical jobs for Manitobans. In the face of great challenges, the commitment and innovation of Manitoba business is inspiring to us all. In Manitoba, economic development is coordinated in a Team Manitoba approach. This ensures that we are connecting businesses to the most appropriate resources for expansion and foreign direct investments. Our economic partners, including Yes Winnipeg, play a vital role in increasing our global competitiveness. Our government is confident that Manitoba's spirit of collaboration, partnership, and commitment will pull us through this current crisis and towards a strong economic future. I want to thank Economic Development Winnipeg for hosting this wonderful event. To again, thank you all to the business owners for your determination and effort as we get through this pandemic together.
Good morning, everybody. I want to begin by acknowledging we're on Treaty 1 territory in the traditional homeland of the Métis. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. J'aimerais tout d'abord souligner le fait que nous nous trouvons sur le territoire visé par le traité numéro 1 et le temps ancestral de Métis. Welcome, everybody, to the 2020 Yes Winnipeg Investors Breakfast. It's great to join you today, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. This is a much different Yes Winnipeg Investors Breakfast than in years past, but part of weathering the COVID storm is ensuring Winnipeg is well positioned for when the storm passes. Those of you who live here already know that Winnipeg's a great place to live, work, and invest. We're fortunate to have competitive advantages, including low business costs, skilled labor, clean and reliable energy with amongst the lowest electricity rates in North America, competitive corporate taxes, low healthcare premiums, low transportation costs, the list goes on. These are just some of the selling points that Yes Winnipeg gets to work with when promoting our city for new business, expansion, investment, and top talent. With success stories like the world-renowned air distribution manufacturer Price Industries and Winnipeg-based furniture manufacturer and designer EQ3. Winnipeg is so fortunate to have agencies like Yes Winnipeg and Economic Development Winnipeg to market our city for investment. And when we get through this pandemic, which we will, we'll be ready to hit the ground running and bring even more investment and talent to our city. To all those joining today, thank you for the collective efforts that you put into making Winnipeg a better place to be. And for all that you're doing to help weather the COVID storm, thank you. Merci and miigwech.
Thank you, Doug, for your opening remarks. And thank you, Minister Eichler and Mayor Bowman, for joining us today. We appreciate the city and province's support for the work of Yes Winnipeg and your partnership with our private sector investors over these past 5 years. We look forward to continuing and enhancing our partnership with the city and province as we look to the future and our next campaign. And good morning, everyone. And thanks for joining us for our annual Yes Winnipeg Investor Breakfast event. Most of you know me, but for those I have not yet met, my name is Ryan Kuffner, and I'm the Vice President of Sales and Business Development at EDW and leader of Yes Winnipeg. Today is about celebrating the past 5 years of Yes Winnipeg's economic impact, the jobs created, the capital invested, and the trickle-down impact of the related GDP growth in our economy. Let's have a look.
In the last 5 years, Yes Winnipeg has partnered with the private sector to drive growth in our city. Let's talk numbers. $308 million. The amount of capital Yes Winnipeg has helped companies invest in our city since 2016. 3,145. The number of direct jobs Yes Winnipeg has helped to create. $35. The value of new payroll created in our city for every dollar invested in Yes Winnipeg to create high-quality jobs at companies like these. Behind every one of those jobs is a story of economic impact. It's not just about 3,145 jobs. Consider indirect and induced jobs, and that number grows to nearly 10,000. The impact of your investment in Yes Winnipeg has a ripple effect right across our economy. At companies like Ubisoft Winnipeg, its journey here started with a cold call from Yes Winnipeg, which led to an investment of $35 million and 100 high-paying jobs in 2018. Employees spend money in our city, buying homes, vehicles, and supporting that coffee shop around the corner every single day. It's found the talent it needs right here in Winnipeg, hitting its 5-year target for hiring 2 years earlier than expected. Its potential in Winnipeg is unlimited. Merit Functional Foods is leading the way in a protein processing market that's expected to explode to more than $18 billion Canadian by 2023. A true Team Manitoba success story, construction of Merit's 94,000 square foot state-of-the-art canola and pea processing facility is creating jobs for local suppliers, construction workers, engineers, and more. And it's just getting started. Precision ADM is an advanced additive manufacturer using cutting-edge technologies to create products for the medical, aerospace, energy, and industrial sectors. With the support of Yes Winnipeg, it won contracts with the Government of Manitoba to manufacture reusable silicone protective masks, a game changer for hospitals facing a shortage of supplies right across Canada. The 60 new jobs Precision created is now driving opportunities for its local suppliers who are also hiring to keep up with supply and demand. From jobs to capital investment, these collective impacts have helped drive Winnipeg's economy forward, even in uncertain times. Thanks to you, we were able to help more clients, businesses, and Winnipeg grow. It's time to invest in our city again, to make a real impact for businesses and our future. Help Winnipeg build back stronger.
The success and impacts of this campaign would not have been possible without your private sector leadership and your investment in what we do. Thank you to all of our investor community for your unwavering support these past 5 years. The video showcased why your investment in Yes Winnipeg matters. From supporting our downtown coffee shops and corner stores to local suppliers for construction, car purchases, and support for our vibrant arts community. And this job creation and capital investment are needed now more than ever. Our goal is for Yes Winnipeg to be the best business development and investment attraction team in the country. Sophisticated, focused, efficient, data-driven, and private sector-led. Selling Winnipeg to the world on our city's merits and competitive advantages, and leveraging our foundational strength, you, Winnipeg's tight-knit business community. After the past few years of evolution, we aren't done yet, but we've made significant progress. And I'm incredibly proud of what we've achieved. Our sincere thanks to the EDW board, led by Dean Schinkel, for your support. To the Investor Council, for your guidance and feedback, and particularly to Doug Harvey for his leadership and passion for Winnipeg as chair. I want to thank Dana Spiring, CEO of EDW, for her leadership, and most importantly, the talented Yes Winnipeg team for their hard work and commitment during a period of constant evolution. This includes our EDW marketing and market intelligence teams, who've raised their own bar to make much of our progress possible. Over the past 5 years, Yes Winnipeg has accomplished some exciting milestones. Most important, as always, is what we've done to grow the economy during this campaign, our core mandate. You just saw the numbers, and they matter. The 3,145 direct jobs created translate into 9,600 jobs when we account for the economic spin-off of direct, indirect, induced, and one-time job creation. The capital investment of $308 million at maturity translates to $79 of capital invested in our city for every private dollar invested in Yes Winnipeg. That's a powerful economic return. The payroll generated of $300 million is new money in our economy, supporting small business at a time when they need it most. And as promised last year, all of these economic impacts and the return on your investment in us are now shared with you in real time on your personalized investor impact statements, hosted on the new Yes Winnipeg Investor Portal. The new Investor Portal launched this year is a powerful new platform for engagement with you, our valued investor community. It gives you insights into our targets, activities, and progress, enhancing transparency and accountability. It also provides you access to tools and assets such as high-res images of Winnipeg, B-roll video, economic analysis, talent toolkits, and more. The portal is intended to unlock value for our investor community, to serve as a platform for your engagement with our team and each other, and to give you the tools you need to help us sell Winnipeg to your clients, partners, and even top talent, which is what Yes Winnipeg is all about. These are all elements of a comprehensive strategy to engage you, our investors, more effectively. As we transition to the next campaign, you will see a shift in how we engage with our investor community, supported by our new investor relations team led by Ilana Niemczyk. Stay tuned for the launch of our next campaign in February to learn more. Speaking of new tools, we've built a lot of them over this campaign as we evolved Yes Winnipeg. We developed sales collateral, rebranded, developed sector sell sheets, compelling videos, evolved pitch decks, and marketing campaigns to sell our city. We are generating leads differently. Our new foreign direct investment team is leveraging international relationships through Global Affairs Canada and Invest in Canada, utilizing artificial intelligence and machine learning platforms to target our efforts. And we are seeing results. We currently have 24 foreign investment projects in our pipeline, more now than ever, despite the pandemic. And we are in the final stretch of closing on several projects that the team has been working on for some time, that while still on track for success, have been delayed by the pandemic. While I had hoped to share these with you publicly today, what I can say is that they represent hundreds of jobs and millions of dollars in capital investment, all of which we expect will help us kick off the first year of our next campaign in style. We've enhanced transparency in how we calculate economic impact, establishing clear methodology available for all investors, and communicating with you in new ways. Our market intelligence team has been an invaluable asset, generating key data to better inform our focus and decision-making. I often say that Yes Winnipeg is data-driven and private sector-led. But what does this mean? The reconstituted Yes Winnipeg Investor Council has been a key sounding board during this campaign, providing private sector leadership, advice, and support for our strategies and efforts. Our new talent team is now a year old and could not have been created without the support of the Investor Council and all of you, who provided testimonials and advocacy to secure the government funding needed to create this new team. A year into its mandate, the Yes Winnipeg Talent Hub offers tools for businesses to help attract and retain top talent in Winnipeg, including international missions and the recent launch of a video series profiling talent that moved to or returned to our city. Partnerships matter. My first speech at this podium 3 years ago talked about the importance of and my commitment to raising each other up. And I'm proud of the partnerships we've built across our community during this campaign. We are working more closely with the Winnipeg Airports Authority, Centreport Canada, Manitoba Agriculture, and the Economic Development Office of the Province of Manitoba on a coordinated approach to investment attraction. We are pitching Winnipeg in international markets such as France, together with our trade partners at the World Trade Center Winnipeg. We are working to address gaps in Winnipeg's access to capital ecosystem with colleagues at North Forge. And we recently partnered with Lauren and our friends at the Winnipeg Chamber, contributing our economic analysis to Chamber newsletters to help small to medium-sized companies use economic data to make better decisions. Through the strength of these and other partnerships, your investment dollars go further in support of the local economy. And it's the right thing to do. We can't build back stronger if we don't work as a team. It's the Winnipeg way. When the pandemic hit earlier this year, Yes Winnipeg pivoted to provide support and guidance to local companies, reallocating resources and activities and doing our part to support our business community during a difficult time. During that period, and today, we worked alongside our partners and private sector leaders to raise each other up the Winnipeg way. The leadership we saw then and the innovation we continue to see from companies such as Precision ADM, Price Industries, and NFI Group is what drives Yes Winnipeg to do what we do. Yes Winnipeg's achievements over the past 5 years are thanks to that private sector leadership. We've made enormous progress, but we have more work to do. And we have big plans as we approach the next campaign. But Yes Winnipeg needs your help to build back stronger through this pandemic and out the other side. And we hope to continue our partnership with each of you in doing it. The next few years will not be without challenges. We are experiencing a global pandemic, witnessing the rocky political transition of our largest trading partner, all while we work from home during Manitoba's lockdown. We are having a moment, Winnipeg, but like all moments, this too shall pass. And Yes Winnipeg's work as a catalyst for economic growth is more important now than ever. I've spent the last few minutes reflecting on the past 5-year campaign, but Yes Winnipeg is about the now, and it's about what's possible for our city's future. Deloitte's recently released Catalyst report lays out 3 key areas to help build a thriving Canada by 2030, the challenges that must be overcome to achieve this, and the bold actions needed now to set us on the right path. Today, we are pleased to be joined by Deloitte Canada's Georgina Black, Managing Partner, Government and Public Services, who will speak to key outcomes from the report and opportunities for Winnipeg and Manitoba to reposition for success. Georgina leads a team of professionals committed to making Canada better. She has over 25 years' experience as an advisor, thought leader, entrepreneur, and community leader. Georgina works with leaders to shape and execute strategies to modernize public sector policy, programs, and sectors. She is particularly passionate about working with diverse stakeholders across sectors to improve outcomes, value, and experience for citizens. Recognized as one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women, Georgina is a frequent speaker and panelist on the future of healthcare and future of government. Today, Georgina joins us from her home in Toronto to share the actions Canada and Manitoba must take to stop our economy from settling back into its pre-pandemic path, and instead, create a better Canadian society for all by 2030. Georgina, welcome, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Hello, Manitoba, and hello, Winnipeg. I'm delighted to be with you today to talk about building back stronger. With respect to building back stronger, I'd like to share some of the highlights from Deloitte's recent report, Catalyst 2030. It was great fun for me to prepare for this session with you today. As I was reviewing the briefing note, the points from the throne speech, and some of the great work that Yes Winnipeg is doing, I found myself saying yes, 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 because of the strategies that you have to put Winnipeg and Manitoba onto a prosperous path. So let me set the context for why Deloitte prepared this report and why we believe this is a really important call to action for our country. So a year ago, we were planning on doing some economic modeling to better understand Canada's sluggish productivity and growth, but more importantly, to try to figure out what would we need to do to get Canada on a prosperous path to 2045. And we were looking at 2045 to coincide with Canada's 175th anniversary. I should say 2042, not 2045. And what we found is that before COVID, Canada was not on a great path. But then when we hit COVID and heard people start to talk about, let's get back to normal, we thought that's not a good option. So we recalibrated our economic modeling and forecasting to look out to 2030. So let me explain to you the hard truth about staying on the current path or going back to normal is that it's not a great path. GDP is at 1.7% before the pandemic hit. And that's important because Canadians feel like they're not getting ahead. Look, Deloitte has been ringing the alarm bells on Canada's sluggish productivity and growth for a number of years. And let me share with you some of the data that really builds this case for change and the call to action. So the World Bank ranks Canada 23rd for ease of doing business. That's down from this number 4 spot in 2006. The OECD data shows that our capital investment is at 10.8% of GDP. We're second among our peers. We know that data on labor in Canada shows that we have low fertility. Immigration has been significantly impacted by COVID. I think we're below 40% of our targets. The over 65 population is expected to double by the year 2030, and that cohort will make up 25% of our population. And 40% of executives in Canada tell us that they can't find people with the skills to do their work. Just a couple more stats for you to paint this picture. The Bloomberg Innovation Index shows that Canada continues to lag, and we've recently fallen another 2 points. And then in terms of the World Economic Forum's competitiveness ranking, Canada dropped from 16th place to 26th place over between 2018 and 19. We're not going in the right direction. And the way that Deloitte frames this up in our report is we are stuck in neutral at 1.7% growth. The case for change is clear. This report is important to us, and I believe it's important to all of you in the audience based on the work that you're doing. This is a call to action for our country. This is about our future. We have a choice to stay stuck in neutral, or we can take some bold actions to get on a more prosperous path so the country can thrive and everyone who lives here will have the opportunity also to thrive and to flourish. So what does this path look like? It looks like we have people and a labor force well prepared to participate in a fast-growing economy. It looks like that we have businesses who are global with world-leading ambitions and they're competitive. And as importantly, we have a society that is inclusive, healthy, and resilient. So our economic modeling and forecasting puts us on a prosperous path where we believe GDP can increase to 2.7%. That means we can add $300 billion in GDP. Let me take a moment to take you across the 3 areas where we believe there are opportunities to take bold actions to get us onto that prosperous path. And again, I think many of these points are going to resonate with Yes Winnipeg and the Manitoba government, as we saw in the throne speech. So the first area where I'd like to spend some time is around people. And here are some recommendations that we have in our report to get Canada on a more prosperous path. And the first one is all about boosting labor market participation for specific populations. Indigenous peoples, people with unique abilities, women, underrepresented minorities. We believe our modeling shows that we can add 1.7 million workers by reducing the labor market barriers for these populations. I commend Manitoba for the work you are doing to reduce labor market barriers for Indigenous populations. I would really like to see Manitoba be the leader in Canada so the rest of the country can learn from you in terms of what you're doing. We believe there's an opportunity to add 38,000 more workers from Indigenous populations in this country by focusing here. Another cohort we should be paying attention to is the seniors cohort. For some reason in Canada, the labor force participation for those over 65 is only 15%. Look at New Zealand and Japan, and it's 25%. Again, adding to our economic capability as a country. There's really important work to be done around reducing labor market barriers for those with different physical abilities and neurocognitive abilities. We at Deloitte, as an example, are really working to respond to this opportunity. We have a partnership with a global company called Auticon, and they employ very skilled workers who are on the autism spectrum. And we have, I believe it's 6 employees working with us now, and they're traditional additions to our team. These are the kinds of strategies that we as employers and governments can embrace to improve lift up the number of people who are available to participate in our workforce. And I'd be remiss if I didn't comment on how women have been impacted by COVID. I believe that women's participation in the workforce right now is at 55%. It hasn't been this low since the 1980s. And this is not a sustainable option for women or for companies in this country. Related, the other recommendation is related to childcare and early childhood education. And again, I was thrilled to see that this is important to Manitoba and to Winnipeg. And so if we focus on enabling affordable access for families, this will allow 88,500 more women to participate in the workforce, contributing $9.8 billion in GDP. And then, of course, all of these recommendations are related. Our third recommendation is around better aligning education systems with labor market realities. And this allows us to address the skills shortage and also to make sure that we have a future-ready workforce. Deloitte has written about this in the past with respect to artificial intelligence and setting out an ambition to help citizens, Canadians, become much more comfortable with AI and other emerging technologies so that they can participate in society and the workforce. So we've just covered a couple of recommendations in that first area around people. Let me hit a few highlights with respect to industry. And again, there'll be lots of resonance with these for those of you in Winnipeg. So the first one is about accelerating significant investment in infrastructure. And infrastructure includes, for sure, physical infrastructure, but it also includes digital infrastructure. We've known for a long time that Canada's infrastructure negatively impacts our competitiveness. And what COVID has reminded us, it actually impacts equity in this country. There are great announcements being made across this country about investments in broadband and telecommunications, and congratulations to you in Winnipeg. The province is investing $1 billion in infrastructure for the province. But my challenge to you is, are you moving quickly enough? If this takes us 5-10 years, we will have lost a generation of students and a generation of people who are missing out on not only their studies, but also the opportunity to participate in the workforce and also in society. The second recommendation we have is about investing in sectors in industries of the future. And again, great to see that you in Manitoba, as part of your plan, have already thought through what are your sectors for the future. They align very nice to the winners that we suggest that jurisdictions consider: agriculture, and of course, agriculture is as much about food and science and technology today. Of course, life sciences, technology, clean energy, modern manufacturing. Related is an important role for governments to think about how do they set up ecosystems and partner with private sector, community, and other public sector organizations to increase access to capital, incentivize growth, and align tax policies to accelerate movement into these industries of the future. And another recommendation where I said yes again when reading the briefing note for this presentation with you is around improving commercialization of Canadian innovation. Clearly, innovation is very important to you in Manitoba. You've got that great partnership and innovation initiative with the university. And we in Canada have so much work to do to improve how we capture and manage IP, and then how we go quickly from research to profits, and the need to become much more sophisticated with our commercialization skills. So we've talked about people, we've talked about industries as really two important areas to help get Canada on a prosperous path. Let's look at the third area now, which is all about society. So there are 4 recommendations that are really important to consider to make sure that as we build back stronger, everyone has the opportunity to thrive and to flourish. So the first, and we've really felt the pain of this through this pandemic, is the imperative for Canada to modernize its social safety net, to become much more flexible and dynamic, and ideally tied to a labor market activation strategy. And so thinking about expanding EI to cover workers who weren't covered before, gig workers, the self-employed, contract workers. Initiatives are underway to do that. There's a whole lot more streamlining that also needs to happen intergovernmentally. Boy, another area we've really felt through this pandemic is related to the lack of health data and the ability to use data to actually inform precise policy interventions. And this is a real call to action to modernize our public health systems, all of the data and infrastructure to make sure that we can share it across the country so that we can get some more coherence and cohesiveness around our strategies to, first of all, anticipate pandemics, and then to respond much more precisely with evidence-based policy. It was great to read about, I think it's the Johnson Group who sparked some innovation in response to COVID and set up some virtual healthcare capability. We're seeing those across the country. It's unfortunate that it's taken a pandemic to help us realize that we can go digital almost overnight, and that data is available. We have more work to do to build our resilience there. At the moment, I'm particularly passionate about this third recommendation, which is about thinking differently about seniors in this country. And the call to action is to develop a pan-Canadian strategy for seniors that shifts our focus from focusing on the institutionalization of seniors to actually really thinking about how do we make Canada a really great place to grow old. How do we focus on health and wellness to enable seniors to participate more in the longer in the economy and in society? And how do we change our funding models and options and create supports to allow people to age in place, age where they choose, and shift this focus from an institutionalization strategy for seniors? The fourth recommendation with respect to society, and in a way it really shouldn't be the last, because it's all about creating a roadmap to decarbonization. And Deloitte has been very clear and consistent on the importance of transitional steps to get there, that brings the various sectors along with us so that our economy can thrive and the workforce can adjust. So in our prosperous scenario, we have 10 bold actions across people, society, and industry. The modeling that we've done describes a prosperous future for Canada, where GDP per capita is moves from 66,800 to 71,700. It allows for increased economic opportunities and better standards of living for those who live in this country. In our prosperous scenario, corporate profits as a percentage of GDP rise 25% faster, allowing for increased business investment and reinvestment in skills training. And then household income grows at a faster pace from 3.8% to 4.4%. So as productivity, labor participation, and investment improve, personal disposable income will see strong growth, allowing Canadians to afford a better standard of living. And again, back to you in Winnipeg and Manitoba, I commend you on the strategies that you have in place as reported in the throne speech and the important work that Yes Winnipeg does. It was very nice to see that alignment. I wish I was there in person to engage in more discussion with you on this. Let me share with you 3 strategies for us to get there from here. The first is that new levels of collaboration, imagination, and ambition are required by government, companies, communities, public sector organizations. Canada has a great history of successful public-private partnerships, and during COVID, we've seen some great ones. For example, the pilot project that's underway at Pearson Airport between Air Canada, a research hospital lab, and they're really, they're testing international travelers over a 14-day period to prove out a hypothesis that we don't need to quarantine for 14 days. Hopefully the data will prove out that hypothesis, but that's a great example of public and private sector coming together to solve a big problem for this country. We need to set the conditions so there are more of those. And of course, we need to think about our ambition, our plans, maybe the strategies we talked a bit today about infrastructure, digital infrastructure, betting on the industries of the future, require that we set plans and execute on plans that are going to extend beyond election cycles. And of course, the last requirement, which is a message to all of us, to all government leaders, to community leaders, to citizens, is leadership. We all have an opportunity to lead, to help Canada get out of neutral and on a prosperous path to 2030. It's been a real pleasure to connect with you virtually to learn more about Manitoba and the Yes Winnipeg initiative. I hope that you found today's presentation really affirming many of the strategies that you have in place. As I said at the beginning, you can say yes, yes, yes. So my respectful challenge to you as you reflect on this is, are you moving quickly enough? Are you being ambitious enough? And are the investments appropriately scaled for what you need to do to realize the ROI? And of course, message to all of us, don't let the things that we can't do get in the way of the things that we can do. Manitoba is leading the way. I look forward to tracking your success. It's been a real privilege to join you today. Best of luck with everything that you are moving forward with. Yes, Winnipeg.
I want to thank Georgina Black and Deloitte for that great presentation. There were a lot of insights in Deloitte's Catalyst report that stood out to me, including the opportunity to look at untapped talent pools to make sure our companies have the talent they need today and tomorrow. We also need to keep working with our strategic partners to push for more access to capital for our new and existing companies that want to expand and grow here. Another line in this report that really resonated with me, and I'm sure with others, is the acknowledgement that while everything is still so unpredictable, we must set our sights on the big picture, face up to the challenges, and not turn away. As Ryan noted, EDW and Yes Winnipeg are focusing on the now, but also looking at the big picture for Winnipeg. We know we can be successful when we come together. It's more important than ever as we look ahead to 2021 and beyond. Yes Winnipeg is supported and driven by a strong community of business leaders who believe in our city and its future. In the last 5 years, they have not only shared their support, but also their vision for the future of this city. And every step we have made was taken in an effort to make that vision a reality. At EDW, we are relentlessly optimistic, and we know with your support, we can continue to execute on your vision in the next 5 years, and I hope surpass expectations. We continue to push the Winnipeg story abroad to encourage more investment in our city. We have leveraged recent funding from Western Economic Diversification to help us tell that story better, using good market intelligence and data. But we have also used that funding to better connect local businesses to the programs, supports, and opportunities that they need. 2020 has been a year unlike any other. We know it's particularly important to keep local businesses top of mind for Winnipeggers as we head into the holidays. We have started a campaign to encourage our community to shop local and shop often. Small businesses add so much to our economy and our community. We need to be there for them now, so they are here to stay. Today was meant to highlight and celebrate some of our successes that were made possible by your support. But we are already looking ahead to the big picture, the future, and February. That is when we will launch the next Yes Winnipeg campaign, which we have branded Real Impact. We think the name is fitting because it speaks to the real impact our business community has on Winnipeg. The true authenticity of Winnipeggers who acknowledge there may be challenges here, but together we will step up to innovate, collaborate, and develop solutions that don't just work here, but globally. Some of those real change makers are watching now or supporting YW to drive genuine impact. We are excited to announce this morning 2 other change makers who are private sector leaders who have agreed to be our Real Impact campaign co-chairs. Andrew Stabard of MNP and Brad Peacock of McGill-Stevenson. These 2 are passionate Winnipeggers. They have answered the call, and we are excited by what the next 5 years will hold. We look forward to you joining us in 2021 for the official launch of this campaign and to learn more about how we can all play a part in shaping Winnipeg's future. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. Be safe, and we look forward to 2021.